Hello, everybody. I'm Skip Elsheimer. Welcome to the AV Geeks lunchtime streaming show where we watch old 16mm films. And so that snippet that I looped as the intro was from a Leave It to Beaver episode called The Perfume Salesman, which I remember seeing some time ago.
Hello, everybody. I'm Skip Elsheimer. Welcome to the
I found it on eBay, and I got very excited to find it. And then, so I got it, and it has emulsion scratches on it, which is the bane of film collecting. Color fading is definitely one of them. Super splicey, or the heads and tails being cropped, those are also bad, but emulsion scratches, man, they're not great, especially those big ones. It's like somebody took an X-Acto blade and just kind of held it against the film. But I got it. You know, I'll maybe at some point, if I find another copy, I'll get that. But that was, yeah. And the premise of that episode is that Beaver answers an ad in the back of a comic book where he becomes a perfume salesman, and he gets a film projector as a prize, or he wants to get a film projector as a prize. Of course, perfume is rancid, stinks so bad. He sells all of it. He gets, and his idea is that he'll get the projector, and he will show movies in his garage and charge admission. So that just resonates with me, because that's my brain when I was a kid, why I used to do puppet shows and other things to raise money. And that's what we do. We're still doing it. We show you stuff, and then we ask you for money. That's kind of our deal. All right. So anyways, this is a film we recently scanned. It's racing in Australia. What type of racing? Is it auto? Is it on foot? Let's find out. Enjoy.
Turf racing has been described as the sport of kings. In Australia, it's the sport of the people. Racing is king. Australians are great gamblers, great lovers of horses too. Race meetings in Australia have a unique atmosphere which fascinates and delights the visitor. It's a day in Australia you'll never forget. This is the biggest day of the racing calendar, the first Tuesday in November, Melbourne Cup Day. One of the world's turf classics, this 2-mile race attracts thousands of visitors. For the 2 million citizens of Melbourne town, it's a holiday, a sunny spring day that turns the beautiful Flemington racecourse into a social and fashion centre of Australia. It's a traditional day built up since the first Cup back in 1861. The opportunity to join the fun is also available at hundreds of tracks around the country. Midweek, they're racing at picturesque locations within easy reach of the big cities. Because of Australia's long summers and mild winters, racing's a year-round attraction.
Another Emperor the fairway back to Carly Queen, Sia Kerner and Perfect Jim. Zealand boy is well through when they swung around the corner. He's right out in front of Who's Who out after him now with a brilliant one, but it's Zealand boy ridden hard, but Who's Who is flashed up, and Who's Who will get up and beat Zealand boy.
No weekend passes without a race meeting being held in each of Australia's major cities. This is the new Sandown Park track, a modern complex which caters for the punters' every comfort.
And Carnaby is going to lead along towards the first fence. Carnaby on the inside, landed just in front of Gold Throw, and about a length and a half further back then is Royal Retreat as they go to the next one. That's the second of the three in the lane.
You'll have no trouble finding a meeting to attend. Over 500 race clubs hold more than 3,000 meetings a year across the country.
Five to guess again, 1.5 Gold Throw, then about 4 lengths.
Matter of fact, about the only thing not guaranteed is the winner.
Hit it, went down and got up again.
In Sydney, Randwick Racecourse is the cradle of Australia's racing history. On Australian courses, you shop around for the best price on your fancy. Totalisators operate at most meetings, but the odds are you'll want to do business with an Australian bookie.
Board on. Boys, win time. Which one? Board on. Yes, give it a 9. Board on, Valance.
They appear to be all set and ready. Racing in the Metropolitan, Roman Consul lost the length of Barry.
The excitement is coloured by a vivid, breathless call of the race.
Rad and Planet Boy who got out well. As they turn the corner, Ruthless Vic the leader. Further out is Tails finishing brilliantly, and wider out is Vita Sane. But Tails in front in the Metropolitan Handicap. He's got a shot to beat the son of Del Rey. A low flashing home along the fences to Jondio. I think it's...
For all the speed and drama, these commentators are renowned for their accuracy. Australia's love of horse racing is embedded deeply in the makeup of the Australian character. Australians respect horses. It was the horse who helped overcome the challenges of the bush in the early days. This is one of many outback racing carnivals. The handful of tourists who make the trip find the friendliest welcome they'll receive anywhere. For the few hundred people who live in this part of Australia's outback, it's a two-day event that's, well, bigger than Christmas. It's held at Brunette Downs property, a 5,000 square mile cattle run. This is not the largest station, but it's the heart and almost the whole of the social calendar for these Australians. The accommodation is under canvas, perhaps not everyone's taste, but no one could ever complain about the breakfast. Big, fresh steaks. The neighbours, they only live 50 or a few hundred miles away, arrive for the big event. The horses that race are stock horses who earn their keep rounding up cattle all year. The jockeys earn their living in the saddle, but for today they swap their work clothes for racing silks.
Red Bachelor, 10 to 8. Number 101. Thank you, sir.
Every community in Australia, no matter what size, prides itself on at least an annual race day with visitors just as welcome as they are here.
They're off. First, number 16, High Grade, Lee Thompson. Second was number 21, Parappa Landry, $40.
What Brunette Downs lacks in facilities, it more than makes up for in character and characters. The running of the Melbourne Cup brings a whole nation to a standstill. At race time, every Australian stops work.
Light flashing track has cleared, they're all set, and they're off and running in the Melbourne Cup. And a great even start too, saw down near the inside. Allsop the first to move out from Faleur. Rain Lover got away with a great burst of speed, and so too did Sir Kinsman, who's showing an electrifying burst of speed in the first 70 or 80 yards to go to the front. And further out on the track, moving up quickly into a more prominent position, is Ben Lowman from New Zealand as they start to link up with the course proper. Moving up is Devil Boy in the centre, going fast as a sharper 4 out from the fence is Ben Lowman. Over on the inside is Rain Lover trying to get up on the inside there of Faleur. Big Money coming up down the side, 4.5 to go. It's a packing field in the Cup, and the leader, Sir Kinsman, about 3 parts of a length in front of Rain Lover and Faleur. They've both grabbed this leader, 3 across the track, 2 lengths to Whiz Can moving up. General Command on the fence, wider out and going very wide as Serrano tails. And right off the track, right around the outside of them came Allsop, followed by Terminal Cyrano, Ben Lowman, Lock Court, Rain Lover in front. Allsop is moving up on the outside to challenge, and they're followed closely then by Swift General Faleur. In behind them, Tails now pulled out, and he's coming home reasonably well only at the furlong and a quarter now. Allsop and Rain Lover and Allsop, they're going head and head. Rain Lover on the inside. Rain Lover's got his neck in front and won by a neck. Second Allsop, third Ben Lowman, fourth Lockcourt, fifth Swift General. They're followed by Safe Fresh Trail.
You can believe it, no visit to Australia would be complete without a few hours amongst the colour and excitement that is racing in Australia.
Let me clear the salad from my mouth. Well, that just kind of ended abruptly. I was hoping for a more subtle transition. But yes, obviously that was a tourist film to try to encourage people to go to Australia and experience the delight that is Australia. Horse races and big stakes. This next film is great. It's one of these multi-ended ones with open endings. Very popular in the 70s. And I have quite a few of these, but this is one I haven't shown yet. This is Follow Mr. Willoughby. Enjoy. And it's not Wallaby, it's Willoughby.
Morning, Jamie.
Hi, Mr. Willoughby.
See something you like?
Sure, lots of things.
Say, what do you think my grandson would like? I'll be seeing him this trip. I always take a surprise to Billy. You have to hurry, though. Our captain is very strict about schedules, and I haven't much time to get to the ship.
Is Billy as big as me?
I'd say so. A little bit bigger, maybe. How old are you, Jamie?
I'm 8 years old, nearly 9.
Well, I guess he is bigger. He's 10.
Well, have to go now. Have to get home for lunch.
Say, what about one of those model airplane things? Do you think Billy is like that?
Sure, they're really neat.
Well, then, I'll go right in here and get one.
So long, Mr. Willoughby. See you when you get back. Mr. Willoughby.
My bag. Now, look at that. I tell you, I'm getting so absent-minded, I'd forget my head if it wasn't attached to the rest of me. Thank you, Jamie. Now, get along. They don't want you to miss your lunch.
get the airplane?
Sure did. Got it right here in my bag. You get home in time for lunch?
Dad, my mom's not even home yet.
Bye, Jamie. See you in a couple of weeks.
Mr. Willoughby!
Hands off, kid. I saw it first.
Sorry, young fella. Only ship's crew and dock workers can get through.
But I have to go in there. I have to take this to Mr. Willoughby.
Willoughby. Let's see. He's ship's cook on the...
Yes, that's him, but he forgot this. I have to take it to him. I'll come right back. Honest.
Well, okay. Go ahead, but come right back. Are you looking for Mr. Willoughby, too? Hey, you can't take that bike in there.
Have you seen Mr. Willoughby?
Nobody by that name on this ship, Sonny.
But there must be. He said he
Well, we're not pulling out until tonight. Have you tried over there? The McBride is going out today.
That's it. That's Mr. Willoughby's ship.
Well, you'd better hurry.
Go! You're going to tear it! Let's go! Now look what you've done. Mr. Willoughby's really going to be mad. Mr. Willoughby? Do you know Mr. Willoughby? Sure, he lives next door to me. How was I supposed to know? Boy, I knew I should have come with him today. He's always forgetting something. Now what are we going to do? You better come with me to my house, and we can both tell my mom what happened.
Jamie, there it is, my bag, and Billy's surprise. Oh, Jamie, I thought I'd lost it.
Please, Mr. Willoughby, run. Your ship will leave without you.
Yes, I must hurry. But, Jamie, my bag, where did you find it?
I'll tell you when you get back. Will you please hurry?
But, Jamie, can you get home all right?
Please, Mr. Willoughby, I'm fine. I know how to get home.
All right, Jamie. Yes, I must go. Thank you, Jamie.
Have you seen Mr. Willoughby?
Yes, he came aboard just a few minutes ago.
I have to find him before the ship leaves. He forgot this.
You just leave it with me. I'll see that he gets it.
Can't I give it to him?
Jamie! Jamie! Is that you?
Mr. Willoughby! Mr. Willoughby!
Okay, go ahead. But hurry.
Yeah, thank you, Jamie. Now, come on, we have to go.
Hey, kid, why didn't you tell me you knew who...
Hello. Yeah, so I love the stop the projector, turn it back on again, stop the projector, turn it back on again. Unfortunately, that could cause, if a teacher's not good at it, they could do all sorts of damage to film. And so thankfully that one didn't seem to be so damaged, but you don't know. Okay, so this next film, I don't know anything about it. I couldn't find it anywhere in film catalogs, but we have it. And here it is. It's Synthese. It's British, I think. Enjoy.
The fabric of science should be considered in the same way as that of nature. Everything in it is infinite, but everything in it is necessary. Georges Cuvier, 1769 to 1832. Portrait. In soil where salt water comes to the surface, plants disappear because they can't adapt themselves. With the exception of very special plants like the small saltwort, which manages to adapt itself where all others have disappeared. And in this industrial area, Lorraine, a traditional salt region for a long time now, totally strange areas can be seen where the vegetation has changed completely in aspect and where only some species that are found on the coast can, oddly enough, survive, because they have managed to adapt themselves to the salt. Jean-Marie Pelt.
My name is Jean-Marie Pelt. I'm of country stock. My family were gardeners. I studied pharmacy first, then science, and at the same time a good deal of botany. I was, in turn, assistant lecturer, professor. I pursued parallel scientific and socio-political careers, if it's possible to say that, which landed me at the Metz Town Hall as deputy mayor. Plant biology. The choice of biological indicators offers the immense advantage of allowing a very rapid determination and immediate observations over very wide areas. Plant biology taught me a lot about biology, pure and simple. The more I thought about it while studying flowers, the more I became aware that the principal laws which govern them are the same that govern us. So, one finds a kind of deep sympathy and a sense of belonging. These feelings are now feelings of great tenderness and of delicacy in a world which is very harsh. Plant and man. Development of plant sexuality was the first of a series of works for which I was responsible that I christened Plant and Man. And well, we've seen plants make remarkable discoveries. We've seen them leave the water and adapt to life on Earth. Then we've seen them create wood, which has allowed them to become larger and become trees. And we've seen them make seeds, which have enabled them to wait sometimes years for the right conditions for germinating. So we have a series of stages which makes up one gigantic epic. Pollution. I often say we've reached an age of autotoxicity, and there's no doubt that the time has come to sound the alarm. Ecology. So, with some friends, I founded a European Institute of Ecology at Metz in Lorraine. Our aim in creating this institute was to develop all research and teaching activities and also practical intervention in the field with a view to improving the quality of life and protecting the environment. We've brought in biologists and specialists in human sciences because it's the only way of achieving a comprehensive vision, and here we wanted to demonstrate that in 700-year-old quarters we could create a science for the future. When you look at a tree trunk, The further you get from the centers of pollution, the more lichens you see reappearing, and not just any. You can practically see the level of sulfur dioxide in the air, and you can actually draw a map of air pollution. Though science is neutral, man himself is not. He is committed by the discoveries he makes and their consequences. So for me, the scientist's duty is the most objective and stringent research possible on the one hand, and reflection on that research on the other. In the news. Infrared rays, ultra-high frequency beams, interference and so on pose a visualization problem. The Center for Nuclear Studies at Fontenay-aux-Roses has perfected a device that achieves it. It's a liquid crystal camera. The sensitive part of this device comprises a 25 square centimeter screen with a low thermic capacity covered with cholesteric crystals. The sensitive surface is lit continuously for visual observation, or by flash for photography. A flow of water keeps the temperature of the screen constant. This camera allows the mode of oscillation of infrared lasers, for example, to be studied. With the beam aligned, a series of photographs can be taken by two simultaneously adjustable cameras. Direct observation is equally feasible. Other areas of use: ultra-high frequency beams, interference, holography, the heating of electronic pieces or components. Technology. Geothermic energy. The Earth contains heat. In the sedimentary basins, the temperature increase in relation to depth is an average 3 degrees centigrade per 100 meters. In some areas bound to the major faults on the Earth's crust, there are heightened geothermic gradients, the use of which can be very advantageous. Type of deposit: steam. An example in Guadeloupe in the so-called bouillante. Rainwater seeps into and circulates in the soil to reach the warm zone. As in a huge water heater, thermic convection currents are created. Being completely covered with porous rock, none of the convection heat can escape, and so the temperature rises along with the pressure. Hot springs, fumaroles and geysers can sometimes be seen on the surface, escaping through natural fissures. If a well is sunk to the rock reservoir, steam can be produced. In ideal cases, this steam can be used directly to turn turbines. Type of deposit? Liquids. The most frequent deposits are low-temperature geothermics. Such is the case in sedimentary basins like Alsace, Aquitaine, Bresse, and the Parisian Basin. Here, the geological layer acts like a sponge 7,000 kilometers square, in which is stocked, according to the studies of the BRGM, a reservoir of millions and millions of calories, which has kept 30 million people warm for thousands of years. It's located between 1,500 and 2,000 meters down and has a temperature of 65 to 85 degrees centigrade. It can be used for urban heating in new towns, as at Melun. An installation has been set up by the Société Technique de Géothermie, which heats 2,000 buildings. Principle. The water has a high mineral salt content and so is very corrosive and can't be fed directly into domestic radiators. It has to be passed through heat exchangers. Water in the stratum is restocked by the seepage of rainwater, which occurs on the periphery of the Paris Basin where the porous layers are level. But this restocking is too slow to compensate for artificial tapping. So, a method of re-injection doublets has to be used. On the right, a well for hot water extraction. A pressure of 7 kilograms provides 100 cubic meters of water an hour at 72 degrees centigrade. On the left, a well for re-injecting cold water. A pressure of 14 kilograms. That's what prevents a too rapid lowering of pressure in the deposit. The Earth's heat represents one of the biggest sources of medicine. The hand. Man is intelligent because he has a hand. This sally of Anaxagoric wisdom underlines the value of that wonderfully complex instrument, the hand. As an executive organ, its prime function is gripping. Its representation occupies a significant part of the cerebral structure. As a sense organ, it transmits all information, including what is needed for gripping. And this information returns to the effector to allow it its regulation and control. Only the extreme complexity of the muscular formations, which guarantee the system's function, allow a really functional programming of voluntary acts. That's why the surgeon has to preserve the hand's sensitivity, for without it, the motor function is nothing. Specific surgery. Each year in Europe, about 1 million people suffer hand injuries, and the hand is injured in 1/3 of working accidents. Badly reduced fractures, mutilations, serious burns. For a long time, surgery has intervened in traumatic afflictions. Osteosynthesis and grafts have proved their effectiveness. For 10 years, scientific progress has allowed practitioners like Professor Raoul Tubiana in Paris to operate on pathological cases: congenital malformations, paralysis, neurological lesions, rheumatic hands, from the most common, rheumatoid arthritis, to the most rare, lupus. Operated on a fortnight ago, this badly burned hand is on the road to recovering a function that the other still exercises. With such stiffness in hyperextension, there is only one solution: to make implants. Rheumatic surgery. This hand, its articulations destroyed, can only regain its function through arthroplasty of the interphalangeal joints. The operation consists of placing the implants between the first and second phalange.
Il faut garder quelque chose, le maximum de solidité côté externe.
It's essential to save as much of the extensor system as possible.
Je vais passer ici entre les obliques et l'auriculaire. C'est ça, oui.
Severing the head of the first phalange. Preparation of the conical openings which will receive the implants.
La phalange, maintenant, la base de la phalange.
Adjustment on a model. The silicon prosthesis is inert and resistant.
Vous voulez allonger l'articulation. Oui, comme ceci, s'il vous plaît. Merci bien.
Five days after the operation. The plaster was taken off this hand today. Re-education begins, and in a month the fingers will have regained a 70-degree flexion.
Étendez. Vous étendez. Pliez. Encore et encore et encore, encore et encore.
This surgery, still developing, is being called on to render considerable service, given the frequency of injuries to the hand, an indispensable organ for man. Science. They aren't found in the waters of our regions. They come from South America or Africa. But in the CNRS laboratories at Gif-sur-Yvette, researchers in sensory neurophysiology are studying these far-traveled fish. Different aspects: morphology, electrophysiology, analysis of phenomena. An environment as realistic as possible is recreated so that the behavior of these fish in their natural surroundings can be determined. Electric fish. These fish are real electric cells. Certain species produce a strong discharge, up to 600 volts, with a potential of up to 6 kilowatts. Whether in fresh water or in their marine environment, these electric fish use their discharge as a means of attack or defense. When hunting, they paralyze their prey before swallowing it. Others, like the electrophorus, the South American electric eel, have two discharges. One strong, which is used as a weapon, the one weak, which is given off continuously. Weak discharge fish. There are also electric fish which only have a weak discharge. The gymnarch has a regular emission. The mormarus, an irregular emission. This weak discharge, about 1 volt, can be made audible and visible on an oscilloscope. This discharge creates an electrical field round the fish, which enables it to recognize the nature of objects in its surroundings. The fish will go through the plastic ring. On the other hand, it refuses to go through an identical metal-rimmed ring. Group experiments produced a similar result. In difference to plastic, avoiding metal, the fish is capable of distinguishing between objects of different conductivity. Environmental analysis by autostimulation. Its electrosensory system, which makes it sensitive to any modification in its electrical field, enables it to localize an object. The fish possesses specialized organs, electroreceptors. The emission of the discharge creates a field which stimulates the cutaneous receptors. It is, in fact, autostimulation. When an object disturbs the electrical field, the receptors, aware of the modification, inform the brain. Social communication. But these fish are not only sensitive to their own field. They are equally sensitive to those created by their congenerics. If an electrical charge is produced artificially, the fish interrupts its own discharge, then renews it. This is a fish auto-stimulating. But the discharge emitted by another fish is also intercepted by the receptors, which inform the brain. This one stops the process of autostimulation to listen to the emission of the congeneric, then replies. So, a kind of communication is established between the two fish, each expressing itself in a different way while listening to its partner. The study of the functioning of these sensory mechanisms helps towards the understanding of the most complex physiological phenomena.
Whoa. So my guess is this. It was episode 574, so chances are it was made in 1974. I don't think that there were 574 episodes of this show. And this was, it looks like a French science news program. And we have seen those made by the American government. It's part of propaganda, and I'm sure this is the same thing. It was probably shown in other countries, maybe other French-speaking countries, and then they translated it into English and had an English narrator for it. But yeah, sorry about the gross imagery. I was eating spaghetti and meatballs and was like, ooh. And I almost inadvertently showed Verdict at 132 again today, which of course has sliced human brain. The guy's kind of flipping through it. I was like, wait a minute, I've seen this, and I've shown this. People are still referring to it in the comments. So traumatizing. So we're not watching that. But I appreciate you tuning in today in spite of all the confusing international material that was thrown at you. We'll be back again tomorrow on Tuesday, and we'll watch some more films. It will be great. And I very much appreciate you guys tuning in. Appreciate your eyeballs, and hope to see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.